Guys here from Swashplate, right? We noticed there's some play and there's a tolerance for play, so show him, Leo, the amount of play there is, okay? There's some play, so we can make an adjustment with these rings, right? These rings are inside here, they're protected, right? And we do a maintenance procedure that we call shimming. This is a procedure that always has to be done because if you don't do it, play starts to develop on the line and you start having problems with the assemblies vibrating. He's taking it out here. Look at the new one, see? This is the shim. There are several sheets. There are several sheets always with gloves on, right? Because of the thing, there are several blades here. He's going to remove the locking wires from here, which is what we're doing now. Okay? He's going to remove the locking wires and he's going to take this off so we can inspect the shimming, check the spacers, and see if everything is okay. So he's going to break the locking wire. He's removing the last lock, right? After removing the last lock, he's going to loosen the bolts now. Here, look, the assembly of the star and the shot plate. Now he's going to loosen it. He's going to remove all of them. We're going to disassemble the entire cleaning assembly. Let's inspect it. Do the shimming. Take the measurement with the feeler gauge, right? You have to measure this gap here between the uniball and the spacer, right? And then see if it's within spec or not. If it's not, we'll keep adding shims until we reach the required height. He's loosening the last screws. Then we take it out. Remove the plate. The uniball, people call it uniball. We've already nicknamed it uniball, right? It's kind of like a joint, right? You see that round shape on the inside, see? He's taking out the screws. The screws have some washers. He's taking them out and putting everything here in the little box, right? He took out the screws. Now he's going to pull it out slowly. Look, there's the plate. Under the plate, there's the shimming, see? The shims are there, he's picking them up, see? And for us to make the adjustment, we can add more shims, which are new shims. There is the etolite, where it rubs, right? That's it on top. Okay? The shim goes on top, the etolite. So it's etolite, shim, and plate. Now he's going to remove where the cyclic makes the movement on this ball. I'll call it a ball here, but people call it a uniball. This term uniball actually comes from another series of helicopters. And here we have a spacer inside. He's cleaning it. So there's a spacer, and now he's going to remove the spacer. It's dirty, so we're going to wash it. The spacer has been removed. And then at the bottom, there's another etolite. Actually, the ball moves over the etolite, which wears out, right? It's kind of a sacrificial part. Turn it upside down. It has a conical shape, see? So now what is he going to do? He's going to clean this whole assembly, and then we'll do the install new shims until reaching the tolerance specified in the manual. It's the clearance between the ball and the etolite, right? He's removing the excess grease. Guys, this is the only component in the head of the keyless that uses grease. Look how much grease there is in there, see? He's removing it. And then we'll come back with the video once the whole assembly is clean. That inspection is done. This inspection is performed every 72 months. The first component to be inspected is the chest plate side, the joint ball, which mechanics call the uniball. So here the chest plate slides, there's a ring on top, an etolite on top, another etolite on the bottom, and the spacer, which I'll show later. The inspection here, according to the Evolution manual, does not tolerate scratches, dents, nothing at all. So the inspection has to be thorough. It's already been checked and there's nothing wrong. So this component here is good to be installed. Let's look at the other components. According to the maintenance manual, it says here that I can use a 400 grit sandpaper, right? To remove any part that is a bit rough, right? But damage, any kind of damage, is not allowed at all. The components of the short plate are all clean now, right? So I'm going to show you. Love is going to help me here to show you how it works inside, right? Because the short plate, this uniball stays inside here. And how it moves inside here, right? So how does it work? There's the lower etolite there, right? It's conical, see? This part here is conical. There's an etolite on the bottom part. See? It's joined together. So one stays on the bottom part. I'll help him here. It touches here, see? Then between one etholite and the other, there's a spacer. You can put the spacer on top. So there's the spacer. Then there's the etholite for the top part. The etholite for the top part, you put the etholite, then come the shimmy rings, which are for making the shimmy adjustment, the shimmy ring, and then the plate, alright? And this here, in the helicopter, it works laterally. Take out just one ring so you can see just the top ring. It works here, making a lateral movement from one side to the other, you see? That's the assembly. Now we're going to assemble it in here. After that, we need to measure the clearance between the etholite and the ball. This clearance is measured from underneath. Now he's going to do the assembly procedure. He's using the maintenance manual. I have been closely following the work he is doing. It is essentially a form of on-the-job training for me. We follow the manual and do it as we go. Throughout the assembly process, all the necessary measurements were carefully taken, and what we might need to do is install some brand new shims to properly adjust the clearance. So at this stage, he'll put in the first etholite, followed by the spacers, and then finally the uniball. This is the specific movement it makes, right? It goes from side to side, and then right after that comes the final spacer. The spacer comes in and is installed. He installed the spacer. Guys, there's a bearing inside here, okay? It is removed with a tool and installed using an octagonal process. This part spins, and this part here does not spin. And here there's a bearing. Now he's going to install the second etholite, okay? It has a taper to hold it at the top, meaning the ball it moves on top of the two etholites. Because this here is basically a sacrificial part. So during inspection, we replace it to eliminate this play. Now he's going to put in the shims, right? This is a new shim that we're already installing. And then we're going to put in the old shim. Put it in properly. It can't be cut, right? So to replace these rings, you have to remove the entire mast, disassemble the whole helicopter to get to these shims. So we're installing the shim here. And over the shim, he's going to place the plate. Once the plate is in, what are we going to do now? We tighten the screws. He's already put the screws in here, right? We've already checked the torque in the manual. Here is the manufacturer's manual, and here is the screw torque. From 6 to 10 Newton meters. It doesn't get grease. But it does require applying anti-seize compound to the body, right? So this is if the symbol is in the maintenance manual, right? So no grease, because the little drawing is indicating that. And this other symbol, which looks like a lightning bolt, is the one that indicates there's a torque value. The torque above is given in Newton meters and below in pounds. Nowadays, in the international system, only Newton meters are used. So he will use the torque wrench to apply torque to these bolts. A standard practice, whenever you're going to torque a component, standard procedures, one person applies the torque and then has to show the torque wrench to a second person to check if the torque is correct. Be very careful when applying torque, because sometimes the manufacturer uses decanewton, and when it's decanewton, you have to multiply by 10. In our case here, it's not decanewton, it's newton. So he's already set the torque wrench, now he's going to apply the torque. And the manual always instructs to apply the torque in a crisscross pattern. Tighten it and always apply the torque in a crisscross pattern. He's applying torque to the bolts. First tighten them, then he'll do the final torque in a crisscross pattern. Then he applies the torque, and we're going to measure the clearance down below, between the etholite here and the uniball. And if it's still out of spec according to the manual, we'll disassemble it and add another shim ring, okay? All of this is in the maintenance manual. Here it is, the chapter of the maintenance manual that covers this. He started applying the torque, first one. The second one. In the third step of this procedure, starting with the short ones and continuing through the sequence, he is going to carefully apply the required amount of torque to every single one of these bolts to ensure everything is properly secured, okay? First, we are checking if they are all properly tightened. And now we are going to carefully check the clearance with the feeler gauge. So he will check if there is any play in there, but it also definitely can't be stuck. We're checking now if it's loose, if there's any play. Guys, the J clearance has to be between 0.2 and 0.3 millimeters. Here's the 0.2 feeler gauge. We measured it here. It doesn't go in, so we're going to have to open it up again. We're going to have to open it up again to remove the shim. So we're having to disassemble it, and we're going to remove the shim ring because the 0.2 or 0.3 didn't fit. The feeler gauge didn't go through, right? The gauge blade. Remember that whenever you measure upside down, you have to measure from the bottom according to the manual. So we're looking for this clearance here. This clearance here, look. 0.2 or 0.3 clearance J. He's removing it again here. Guys, now he's retorquing everything, so you have to torque it. And as soon as he's done torquing, we're going to turn the shot plate upside down. It's from underneath. We turn the shot plate the other way around. Now he's going to measure the clearance here between the shot plate and the Idolite. Here's the feeler gauge. He's measuring 0.20 or 0.2. He's going to measure there. As you can see, it's going through now. Let me put it on this side so you can see it clearly. I'll place it right here for you to observe. When I take my hand away, you can see it goes through perfectly. We have exactly 0.2 millimeters of space, and that's my required clearance. So now everything is okay. So that is the complete step-by-step process of disassembling and then reassembling the shot plate.